You smell what the flock is cooking. Flock up or flock off, not you. You stick around because it's about to go down. You know, flock with the most energetic entity in the Eagleverse. Here on the Fly Eagle Fly Friday. You know how we like to do around this time, about this time, at this time, man. We got to talk to the flock docs, man. And we got a lot of things on the prescription. What's going on today? Dude, we're a week away. We're a week away from football. Not to mention, it's been a week since I've been on here. I acquired, a little free training camp injury, you know what I mean, that had to address. But now we're back at it. I'm back on the field. First step, ready to go. Let's flock and go. But yeah, man, so much has happened in the last week. So we're going to try and tidy this up. Keep it real tight, short and simple. You know what I mean? Because it's hotter than a flock of boxes in a football locker right now, and it's going crazy. So we got to get this out the way because we don't want to hear the AC going the whole time while I'm on here. So you know what? It's all for now. But we got to fly through this, man. So many things to get into, right? So we got a little bit of AJ. We got a little bit of Dallas Goedert. We got some Kellen Moore, some Eagles DBs. There's some more. There's much more. We're going to get into Landon Dickerson. Oh, man, who's the real American? Yeah, man. We got some stuff. But before we do any of that, let's get the next keeping out of the way. Please like and subscribe. If you bought that Fly Eagles Fly, drop a comment in that box if you fly with the flock. Do remember, join that maniac thing. Note again, you hit that bell, you get a bang whenever I'm on this YouTube thing. Flock and go. But while that's the maniac thing, let's keep the main thing. Hope this video finds you in good vibes, good ties. Fly Eagle Fly skies. If you're not there, hope this helps you get there because we're about to go there. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, man, like I was saying, bro, it's been a long week. And, yeah. A lot of things have happened, but one of the things that I saw early on in the week was when it comes to, you can never replace Jason Kelce. However, I do see someone, if there was someone to replace him as the vocal leader of the squad, but see now, even as I'm saying it, I'm having second thoughts because we see Jordan Mailata out here being the face, you know what I mean? The mouthpiece pause, for the team. He could talk with the best of them, but I just feel like Landon Dickerson, if you know what I know of YK, if you know what I know about Landon Dickerson and where he came from as far as college in Alabama, and I believe he was down for the count for a second. So, he had a gym at his dorm or whatever you want to call it, the dorm house, frat house, wherever they were at. He had a gym that everyone could come to, similar to how, but then again, that's really what Lane Johnson does, man. There's so many people that could take this take this over. So I don't know where I was actually going with this. It's just something that I was watching at the time. It's not the modern meaning, which is once again why I need this therapy more often than not. And a week off is way too long. However, I'm just seeing the way he talks, the way he galvanizes the group. It just seems like he's that guy, especially being the youth movement. He's probably the youngest one, so he'll probably be here the longest. So I just feel like he could take over that role. And then when you look at someone like Cam Jurgens, he even not so much spoke for Cam Jurgens, but he related to the fact that, you can't replace Jason Kelce. And Cam Jurgens said this himself, when do you see an offensive lineman, the center, being the most popular dude in the state? That's Jason Kelce. You can't replace that. You can only be who you are, stand where you stand there, and do what you got to do. And that's what Cam Jurgens seems like he's going to do. Landon Dickerson's got his back, and I just see him as the next leader stepping up. Outside of course, the guys that we know, the AJs and the Jalen Hurts and guys and the Lane Johnsons. Just more so the next up. Because Lane Johnson, leave it up to him. That dude will probably play another 10 years. At least that's what we want. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a lot of other things going on in the Eagleverse. Whoa. Oh, man. Yeah, we've got the wrong notes, people. But you know how we do, man. We do this thing on the fly. So we've got, who's that? You got Landon Dickerson. He could be the vocal leader of this team going forward, at least as far as I see it. Then another thing, just as outside the nest, before we get into yesterday's training camp, not to mention yesterday's open practice, 50,000 people. Are you flocking kidding me? And we're a day removed from that, and we're a week removed from actual football. I just can't wait. But before we get into all of that, I'm watching these Olympics, man. And I'm seeing how they're referencing all the teams, and they're calling them all the Eagles. I'm like, yo, how the flock is a cowboy? We're the Eagles, bro. We're America's team. But I really don't want that title. I don't know. Just something in the notes wanted to get into. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Eagles are the real America's team? You go everywhere. There are Eagles fans everywhere. We take over every stadium we go to. What is they talking about? LA games are damn near home games for us, bro. I can't wait. Can't wait for that. But we got a long time for that. You got that. Then another thing that I saw early in the week, AJ, they were asking him about, who's he seen standing out in camp, and he's like, Devontae Smith, he's out here doing the damn thing. Like he's seeing him taking another step, like he's flying all over the place. And then when they asked him about Jalen Hurts, he seemed to be non-committal. It was just maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. Even though I'm Mr. Over here guy saying it's nothing between Sirianni and Hurts, but now I'm trying to see if there's something between Hurts and AJ, or maybe they just that tight. Like, yo, I don't talk for you, you don't talk for me. You know what I mean? It's all business. Da 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 da. But like I said, once again, he is big. He is very big on what Devontae Smith may do this season coming up. Not to mention, he's also big up in Quinyon Mitchell as far as what he's doing. He's saying the rookie is stepping up. He's not scared. He picks fights with him every day. Says, you know what I mean? Like he said, they asked him if it was by design that he defends him sometimes in practice. And AJ said, nah, he's the one seeking him out, lining up across from him. He wants to give him that business, give him that work and see if he's really about it. And from all reports, everything that we're hearing, Quinyon Mitchell is the truth. They've got him playing outside, inside, slot, dime, nickel, whatever you want. He got it. He gonna do it. I'm loving what we're hearing about this guy. So that's what AJ had to say. And he's really stepping up into a leadership role. When you're hearing the things that he's saying, like I said, once again, he just said, you know, Jalen Hurts is doing his thing. He's doing pretty good. You know, it is what it is. But you could tell like there was a spark. And I'm not to say, even though it just sounded like I was saying, but I say there's anything between him and Jalen Hurts, but it's just like he's looking at that other guy in his room with him, and he's seeing the maturation of his game, how he's stepping up and smoothness. And I believe Jalen Hurts has said the same thing also. AJ even went so far as to say, like, no one in this whole camp has been able to defend him. And I'm loving hearing that from what's going on with this offense. And that's the AJ quotient of it. Dallas Goedert. Now we're going into this practice. Last night, he went off 3 touchdowns in the public practice. Going off, and it's just so awesome to see and hear that someone's implemented Dallas Goedert the way he needs to be implemented into an offense. And I just can't wait to see the multiplicity, the nuances, the complexity, all whatever Kellen Moore's throwing out here, man. I just can't wait to see it. And on to Kellen Moore. We got him going motion. We even saw a counter last night to Saquon Barkley. We got Covey going out here, coming out of to the flat. It's going to be wild, and I can't wait to see it. And I think that's the beauty of what Kellen Moore could bring to this Eagles team is the multiplicity of things that he could do. We won't get locked on a Dallas Goedert, locked on a A.J. Brown, locked on a Devontae. It's like whoever wants it going to get it. Whoever's open, we're going to keep the defense on their heels at all times. No more of this like, this is what we do, and I don't care if you know that we're going to do it because we still going to do it. I get it. That's great when you're there and you're that great and you can do things like that. And not to say that we're not that great, but why not mix it up a little bit? That's all I'm saying. But no, I can't say that we're not that great because we saw what happened at the end of last season, which is the message that we're hearing a lot of the players saying, a lot of the coaches saying, like, last year was last year, this year, flush that down the toilet. We going forward. Let's flock and go. And speaking to that end, you look at what Kellen Moore did with those Dallas teams, and you look at the guys that he had. You're talking about Amari Cooper, Gallup, and Ezekiel Elliott, and Dalton Schultz. And then you look at what he did with Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz was the second most targeted on those teams. I believe that may be the case when CeeDee Lamb was there and Amari Cooper was gone. Regardless of what, he's gonna give that work to the tight end. That's crazy. That is crazy. But it's gonna be awesome to see an offensive coordinator actually using all the tools that he has in the tool shed. And dude, I just can't wait to see it. Not to mention unlocking Jalen Hurts. Finally, we've got a list that don't got me pissed when they're talking about Jalen Hurts, and that's the NFL top 100. They had our boy at 15, ahead of the likes of the Burrows, and he's ahead of everybody, ahead of Purdy. And then I'm watching yesterday, and Acho, of course, seems to take issue with Jalen Hurts being ahead of Purdy, him and James Jones. And I mean, like I said, I always know this is what they do to get my feathers all ruffled and get me going crazy, get fans like us going crazy. However, I just can't help but speak to it. Like, if we're really talking about like Purdy, no, I get it. I'm not one of them guys that's like, oh, he got picked last overall. That doesn't matter. Like, look where Tom Brady got picked. Look at where Russell Wilson got picked. There's a lot of guys that get picked later than what they should be. I'll even give it to Wack Ascot. You know what I mean? Like, he got picked pretty late, too, for the production that he's brought into the league. So I get that. But it's like Purdy, dogs, like, and while at the same time, we have to take into account all the talent that Jalen Hurts has around him. And then we look at all the talent that Purdy has around him. And it seems to be a bit of the same. But then you go at the talent actually in the player. And like I said, once again, I can't help reiterating this enough. Like, I watched this 60 minutes Jalen Hurts highlights. I don't think I've never seen a Brock Purdy highlight film. I will say this, that last game against I believe it was against the Lions a few few plays late. Like, he's a lot more of an athlete than he's given credit for. I just don't think he's up to the par of a Jalen Hurts quite yet. The fact that they could sit there and get all bent out of shape at the prospect of Jalen Hurts being ranked above Jalen Hurts is just wild to me, especially if I'm just going apples to apples, the game that we both seen them play in. They both played in the Super Bowl, and you look at what Jalen Hurts did in the Super Bowl compared to what Brock Purdy did in the Super Bowl. It's night and day, dogs. Like, we're talking about in comparison. You've got Brock Purdy going, what was he? What was he doing over here? No, so where the stats go? Where the stats go? Oh, they jacking me up. Regardless of what, he was nowhere near the player that Jalen Hurts was. I had everything right here, dogs. I promise you. Regardless of what, he didn't scratch a sniff. I believe he had 255 passing yards, about an 80 quarterback rating, 12 rushing yards. This is what he's doing in the Super Bowl. Then you look at that conversely with what our boy Jalen Alexander, the great Hurts, did in his Super Bowl appearance. And it's literally night and day in more ways than one. We're talking about 27 to 38 is 71%, 304 yards, 8 average, 1 TD, no interception, 103.4 passer rating. Not to mention the 70 yards rushing. Like, this dude was out there putting in that work when it was time to go the hardest. At the highest moment, on the highest mountain, at the roughest time, like, dude went off. So I'm just saying that apples to apples, and we're looking at a game that they both played against the same damn team. Like, bro, and not to mention, you could argue that the team that Jalen Hurts faced in that Super Bowl was better than the one that Brock Purdy played, but, we're not going to get that deep into the weeds. I'm just saying apples to apples in the game type thing. Yeah. Now, we can definitely argue that there were certain times last season when Brock Purdy may have possibly outplayed him, but we've seen it before, and I told you guys this before. He throws it up there to get intercepted time and time again, and there's so many times especially when you look at the interceptions that were made against Hurts last season. I know I'm looking at the world through eagle-colored glasses right now, but I'm being dead serious. Like, you look at some of the interceptions with some of the wildest interceptions you ever seen in your life. These guys are playing out of their minds. Like I don't want to get into names, but regardless of more. And then you're looking at the interceptions that were being dropped by opponents against the Niners, bro. Like, it's wild, but you know what? I'm all for that. This is the day after Thursday, Hurts Day, and I just had to, shout out my boy. And, like, he's out here dealing out here, man. Like, he's having one of the greatest training camps ever. I can't believe I'm saying that. I know it's only training camp. But if we look at it conversely with what he did last season in training camp, where he was throwing the ball all around and was getting picked off left and right, and that translated into the season, so what he's doing right now, you practice how you play. Piss poor preparation, will get you playing piss poor. But proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. And that's where we're at right now, what Jalen Hurts is doing, man. And I'm just loving what we're seeing in this training camp. I'm loving seeing what Kellen Moore is doing with this offense. And then I can't wait to see what's going to happen more often than not when it comes to, because we're coming up on this, talking about our 53-man rosters and all that. We've had issues. We haven't had the problem that we're going to have this year as far as the DBs go. Like, we're looking at previous seasons, and more often than not, we're looking at the back end of what we're going to do at the back end. And that's the only cause for confusion, because you're like, damn, all of these guys are pretty bad. I hate to say that, but, they're not quite up to par as far as, NFL cornerbacks. And it's been proven to be the truth, because a lot of these guys that we've seen in previous years on our depth chart are no longer in the NFL. They are the anomalies, and it's like, I don't even know, because, like I always tell y'all, Rasul Douglas is my dude. Obsessed me to no end, like what Schwartz did with him, but Schwartz got us a Super Bowl defense. I'll take it. Good trade, right? However, you've got this year, the issue is going to be at the top, and like, who are we letting go when there's so much top tier talent? That's why I'm a bit reluctant to even look at a 53-man roster, because I'm going to be so upset at some of the pieces that we're going to have to let go or try to move on to the practice squad. So I can't even imagine, like I've been saying all offseason, the enviable task of constructing this roster and getting it down to 53 and then the 16-man practice squad. Like, there's talent all over the place. It's wild. Like, the only place that I could see them actually trying to add at is linebacker and safety. But the way they're moving these things around, and like we've already lost a piece. I remember early in this offseason when Optimistic Giants fan, he saw that we drafted Kenyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, not to mention we had Slade, Bradbury's still on the roster, Eli Ricks, the Mekhi Gardner, Keely Ringo. All of these guys, what are you going to do? And he's just like, dude, once it happens, I know that the Giants are going to be right there to pick off anything that y'all are letting go. And it's happened already. His words have proven prophetic because as soon as we drop Mario Goodrich in order to make space for the guy Gates that came from the Giants, it's almost like a damn trade. I believe he was a backup offensive lineman last year for the Giants, possibly a starter. You never know with them, right? It's trash. But then you got... We tried to make room for Gates. We had to let go of Mario Goodrich, and no sooner than we did that, they snatched him up. He is now a New York Giant. So, yeah, this seems to be that it's going to be a theme going into this, also coming into the 53-man roster projections and construction and whatever we're going to do with that. So, it's wild. I can't even wrap my head around it. I'm thinking about maybe we'll just do a live, kick the itch a little bit and see what's going on with that because I can't. It's going to be nuts. And like you can tell right now, this heat is nuts. So we're going to get out of here. Till the next time, make sure the best time in the meantime, between time, keep it a green time. You already know how I like to do around this time, about this time, at this time, man. We got questions. What you going to do when Eagle Mania swoops down and runs wild on you? Say it with me one time. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Let's rock and go. Dude, we are a week away from football, dude. Like, actually seeing this team. We haven't seen them since... Yeah, this is the most we've seen them last night since that horrible. So it was good to get a bit of that taste out of our mouth and just things going forward. And what we saw last night was just amazing. The first time seeing Saquon on that field, all of these guys is just dope. Oh, you got AJ and Smitty coming out together looking like dogs. So offensive line looking like monsters. Man, I just can't wait. And then Saquon running behind that is just going to be stupid. This defense, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, Will, like taking over the middle. I can't wait to see how this goes down next week. Ooh, versus the Ravens. How long do you think they're even going to play these guys? But I'm hearing that they're going to play the starters quite a bit. No more of that bug. You know what I'm saying? So let's go. Can't wait to see it. Let's get the fuck out of here.